Hi friends, it's Jess with Our Bipolar. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, just a little bit about me. I have bipolar 1 and I was diagnosed 26 years ago when I was a sophomore in college. Wow, it's good to be back. It's been a while since I've been on this couch filming a video. Not too long ago, I went through hypomania and then a lot of unexpected stress happened. It was a lot, so I did take some time off and now I'm back and I'm ready to do this. So today I'm going to be talking about what I would tell my younger self when I was newly diagnosed with bipolar. I don't know exactly what I'm going to say. I'm going to let it be spontaneous. But before we get into that, I will ask you to subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment. I love to talk to all of you in the comments and let me know what you would tell yourself back when you were diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Okay, so first, I was diagnosed 26 years ago. I realized that I have been diagnosed with bipolar disorder for much longer than when I wasn't. I was 19 when I was diagnosed. So, gosh, 7 years longer. And it is hard to remember sometimes what it was like before I had bipolar disorder, before I started having mania and depression. When you're diagnosed, it can be a really rough time. It's traumatizing to be diagnosed with a serious mental illness. You don't know what's going to happen. All of a sudden, at least for me, my life was turned completely upside down. I was in college, but I couldn't stay in college. I can add the link right now up above to my video on my first Manic episode and Psychosis, and that was when I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So yeah, my life changed nearly overnight, and maybe yours did too. So when thinking about what I'm going to say to that person back then when I was just diagnosed, it is kind of hard, and I'm hoping I won't get too emotional. Okay, so you're gonna be me. The camera's going to be me, and I'm just gonna get started. Jess, I know this is an incredibly difficult time, and this was not how you expected your life to go. Things were rough in your childhood, but then you got to high school and things seemed to get better in a lot of ways. You were kind of coming into your own, and then you went to college and all fucking hell broke loose when you started having mania. And I just want you to know, it is going to be hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You're going to go through several years of really difficult times. And there are going to be a lot of times when you don't think you're going to make it through. There are going to be many times when you want to end your life. Just being honest. But you are going to be okay. You really are. And you have to trust in that. And I wish I knew that back then, but you're going to be okay. Let's talk about meds and doctors. I would implore you to do things differently and to be your own best advocate and to change psychiatrists. And I know that you do. You end up going through a few of them, but I would implore you to keep doing that, because you need to find the doctor who will change your medication. Now, the way things went, that took about 8 or 9 years to really change meds and get on something that worked for you. And those 8 or 9 years were pure hell. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I wish I could change that for you, but unfortunately, that is the way it had to be. And that's, a lot of people have to go through a really long struggle period. But after that period, you will find something that works, and it will not be perfect. It's not going to be the magic pill. You are still going to have to do your own part. And the other thing I would implore you is to get educated, do more research. I know when you were diagnosed, social media really wasn't a thing. You couldn't go on and find other people who have bipolar disorder and talk to them and be part of a community like that. And that really sucked. And it sucked that you didn't know anyone else who had bipolar for, 20 years into your diagnosis. It took that long. But someday you will. And in the meantime, I want you to try to do more research. Find out what you can be doing besides taking medication. And also listen to your doctors. I know you're not on the right meds, but why aren't you doing your lab work? Why did you not do your lab work for almost 10 years? Why did your doctors allow that even? It's confusing, but I'm proud of you that you always took your meds, aside from forgetting once in a while, but you did until you decided that you could probably be better off without them. And I hate to say this because I encourage people to be med compliant, but getting off your meds at that time was a good thing. It forced you to get a new psychiatrist, and that's when you got on meds that actually worked for you. Let's talk about relationships. When you're going through rough times with bipolar, your relationships are going to be rough. And people are going to come in and out of your life, and the people who come in are not necessarily going to be the best people all the time. So please just hang on. That's all I'm asking. Just stay. Just keep going. Because someday when you do get on better meds and you learn more lifestyle changes, you learn that routine is important. All the things, exercise, eating right, sleep most of all, which back then you were not getting good sleep. And I think you thought that, oh, well, if I take my meds, that's all I really have to do. And these other things don't apply to me. I don't know why, but I think, that's what you kind of thought. And you didn't think how important these smaller things, which feel like smaller things, but they're not. And sleep most of all. So I would hope you try to do that better. Get better sleep, get better exercise, eat better. Don't overload yourself with stress unnecessarily. But the best thing I can tell you, the best part of all this is that you are going to be okay. You are going to go on and have a career. You're going to have friends. You're going to have a family. And I know right now you're not sure of any of that. You probably are thinking, that's all gone. Now, your career and everything is going to happen later. And it's not going to be the career you thought it was going to be. When you were diagnosed, you were studying to be a doctor, and that quickly went out the window. And I think that was the best thing to happen, because just being honest, you couldn't have handled the stress of that career. Instead, you're going to become an editor. You're going to mostly work on your own, but it is going to be a great, fulfilling career. And you might not believe this, but someday you're going to be a bipolar advocate, and you're going to speak to all sorts of groups of people, high school students, adults, and you're gonna have a YouTube channel, you're gonna work with NAMI, and that's going to become your purpose. And it's gonna really fulfill you in life, and you're gonna have this huge community on Instagram, like make all these friends who also have bipolar disorder, and they're really going to get you. And it's going to become a very important part of your life and something that is enriching your life in a lot of ways. And I know right now you just want to hide from having bipolar and you don't want anyone to know, and it's a big secret. Someday, it's not going to be a secret. It's going to be something you hold your head high and talk about and try to, I mean, it might sound silly, but like you're going to try to make the world a better place, and especially for your daughter. All right, well, thank you, everyone. I'm sure there's a lot more I can say, but that's all I have for now. And I hope that even though I was speaking to myself, some of that can translate for people who either were just diagnosed with bipolar or have been diagnosed for a long time and just maybe need to hear some of it. So thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.